Isabella and I'm 9 years old. I've been diving for 3 years and I dive for a Northside Diving Academy in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, nice. I was just actually at that pool in San Antonio for
Yeah,
a meet.
I took a picture with you.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah, I had to get out of there kind of soon. I didn't actually get to compete because of all the crazy coronavirus stuff going on. I flew back to Minnesota just to get home safe. But yeah, I was there, so it was nice to meet you there and good chatting with you now.
I wanted to talk to you because you inspire me to do a lot of things. You push through everything and you're just amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So the first question I had it is how old were you when you started diving and when did you realize diving was your passion?
So I started diving when I was 8 years old, and I grew up in Indianapolis, kind of diving with a lot of big name people like David Badaya, Steele Johnson. So I would see them practice every day, basically. And I think when I realized diving was my passion, I was probably 9 at my first nationals, and just seeing everyone there who was like so good and realizing that I could maybe get to that point someday in my life, I decided I wanted to pursue that and kind of push forward with my goal and my dream of becoming an elite diver. So I think at that time I realized that diving was my passion and I had a love for the sport and just wanted to continue on with it and see how far I could go.
Okay. What is your favorite dive?
My favorite dive. I really like full out on 3 meter. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so it's the dive numbers for it are 5-1-5-2, and it's a front 2.5 pike with a full twist. Yeah, big dive. So that one's my favorite one.
How does being in a sinker team compare to being solo? Which do you like most?
I'm starting to just now this year actually like synchro a little bit more than individual diving. My synchro partner is Cassidy Cook. I'm sure you know her. She's from Texas. Yeah. So that's my synchro partner, and we have a really good time when we dive together and we have fun. So I'm just now enjoying synchro a little bit more than individual just because I have Cassie as my partner and it's a lot of fun doing it.
Have you have had many injuries? How do you come back from them?
Yeah, I've had a lot of injuries. I think it's just like a mental game. You have to be mentally tough when you get an injury and do everything the doctors tell you to do with when it comes to like doing your therapy and staying in shape and all that kind of stuff. So, as long as you're doing everything you can outside of the pool when you're injured, you'll come back stronger than you were before. So that's kind of how I've dealt with injuries and come back for them.
What's your favorite snack after a long practice?
Ooh, that's a good question. I love food. I'm a huge fan of hummus and like any kind of vegetables. So hummus and carrots or hummus and even pretzels or anything. I really like hummus right after practice or like a yogurt, a Greek yogurt with like chocolate chips in it or something a little bit unhealthy. I really enjoy that as well.
What are you doing to stay motivated and how are you training during quarantine?
So I try to keep the same schedule as I would if I were going to practice. Obviously, right now I can't get in the water because I don't have a pool to practice at, but I try and keep the same schedule. So I'll wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning and then go on a run or go do some sort of form of cardio with my day. And then I'll come back, I'll eat, I'll do some abs, like kind of do that kind of stuff. And then second practice rolls around, I'll do like a little YouTube workout or something fun. Go work out with a friend or a Zoom call with a friend, do a little workout over Zoom. Just really anything to get me up and moving throughout the day and have fun while doing it.
How are you and Cassie Cook staying contacted during quarantine?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we actually both have each other's phone number and we're friends on like Snapchat and Instagram and like social media and that kind of stuff. So we text every day just talking about like what we're doing for a workout, or like if we're unmotivated for the day, we'll text one another and be like, I'm really struggling with motivation today. Like, can you hop on a Zoom call and we can like chat about what we're doing and maybe work out together. We both have Apple Watches and we can track each other's activity levels on that, which is kind of cool. So we can tell when each other are when we're working out throughout the day, and then it motivates us even more. Like motivates me to get up and move if I see Cassie moving, whereas if I'm up and moving and she's not, it'll motivate her to get up and move as well. So yeah, basically just through the phone we stay contacted, and through social media.
Cool. What is it like traveling all around the world for competitions and meeting new people?
It's awesome. I mean, one of like the biggest reasons why I dive is because of all the friends and connections you make through it. It's so much fun, especially being able to go across the world and you have friends all the way across the world that you still stay in touch with even when you're back in the US. So, yeah, I mean, getting those relationships and just being able to talk to them every day, even if they're across the world, is so much fun. And then competing overseas and seeing different cultures is amazing. Being able to go out to different cities and explore a little bit and just get a little piece of every culture around there, around the world, is awesome.
Do you have a favorite place you dove at?
I really liked, we just came back from Madrid and I really liked that pool and that city. The pool's kind of weird. It's like the ceiling has like kind of like windows on the top of it. So spotting in there and seeing like the water in your dives and the board in your dives is a little bit difficult. But then once when you figure that out, it's a great pool to dive in. It's beautiful.
How do you overcome fear of new dives or anxiety for upcoming competitions?
hmm So when it comes to new dive, I mean, everyone's afraid of new dives. I think I can't name a dive I have learned and not been afraid of it, but I have always trusted in my lead ups, like the easier dives you do before the bigger dives, you know? I've always trusted in my lead ups, and if my lead ups are good, then I am more confident going into the bigger dive. So that's how I have dealt with fear. And then also just trusting in your coach and knowing that they're not going to make you do a dive that you're not ready for. So trust your coach that you're ready to do the dive. And then the more repetitions you get off of the dive, the easier it will be for you to do.
Okay. Do you still get nervous when you compete?
Yeah, I'm the type of person that you have to learn how to deal with the nerves. Like if I'm not nervous for a meet, that's when I usually dive bad. So I do get nervous, but over the years I've learned how to deal with the nerves and the difference between bad nerves and good nerves. So once when you learn how to control your nerves in a meet and get like more adrenaline for your dives and more excitement for your dives instead of piling it up as being nervous, you'll compete really well. But yeah, everyone gets nervous for meets, even the Olympic champions, they still get nervous for meets. So don't worry about that. You'll learn how to deal with nerves as you get older.
What are your hobbies in your free time?
Hobbies in my free time. So I grew up with three brothers, so who are all very active playing sports. So I love going to sporting events like basketball games, football games, really anything, soccer games, any type of sport, baseball. Really enjoy doing that. And then Netflix, watching movies, watching TV series, stuff like that, hanging out with friends. Yeah, that's about it. I'm in college still, so I go to school. I have that to do in my free time, but I really enjoy sports.
Looking back on your diving career, do you have any regrets?
I don't think I would say I have any regrets. If I could go back and do something a little bit different, I might do that. I was homeschooled for diving for about 5 years. And during that 5 year period is the time that I got extremely injured. So if I could go back, I would maybe change that about my career and have stayed in school and practiced a little bit less. But everything's a learning experience, you know? So if I didn't go through that, like who knows, like maybe I wouldn't be as good as a diver as I am today. So I wouldn't say regrets, but things that I maybe would have changed, yes.
Would you consider coaching?
I actually don't really want to be a coach. I am going to school for kinesiology, so it's basically like studying the human body and how it moves and that kind of stuff. So I want to be an athletic trainer when I grow up and then help people with like you've gone to meets and see and have seen like people getting massages and getting stuff taped and stuff like that, right? And the
Mhm.
people that do that are the athletic trainers. So that's kind of what I want to do. I'd rather work with the injury side of sports than be a coach.
How did you feel when the Olympics were postponed?
How did I feel? I think at first I was pretty devastated, kind of like everyone. Like we go through 4 years of really intense training and leading up to that specific time. And then them telling us that it's going to be delayed a year. It's hard because then we have to reschedule everything for the whole next year and work towards the Olympics next year. But once we got over that initial kind of sadness, we realized that we could take this and it could be a good thing. Like I have a whole nother year to make my dives even better than they are now. And me and Cassidy also just started doing synchro not too long ago. So we have a whole nother year to train synchro before worlds and before the Olympic trials and then before the Olympics. So at first it was pretty devastating, but then you really got to sit back and look at it. And now it's easier to deal with.
Is it your second time trying out for the Olympics? What are you doing different this time around?
Yeah, so this will actually be my third Olympic trials coming up. Yeah, I know. Competed in a lot of Olympic trials, but I would say now I feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my diving career. So that's changed a little bit. My coach right now is a little bit different than the last two Olympic trials I competed in. Now I'm diving with Wembo Chen. Do you know him?
No.
No, he's the coach at the University of Minnesota where I go to college. So I'm being coached by him going into this Olympic trials, which we work really well together. So that's great. And then I'm mentally just happier in the sport, which makes it a lot easier to dive. So I would say those three things are the big things right now that are different than going into the last two Olympic trials.
Are you competing individually and synchro, or are you just doing synchro, or the other way around?
Yes, I'm gonna compete in both. I'm gonna compete individual and synchro as long as we go to worlds and get the spots for the USA to compete at the Olympics. Because right now we don't have any spots for women's 3 meter and we don't have any spots for women's 3 meter synchro. So over next summer, we're gonna have to go to worlds and then get those spots and bring them back for the USA. So as long as we get the women's 3 meter spots and the synchro spot, then I'll compete individual and synchro at Olympic trials.
Do you have any pets?
I do. I have a dog. Her name is Sadie. She's really cute, but she's at home in Indiana with my parents. I'm in Minnesota right now.
Out of all your titles, is there one that means to you the most?
Mm. Yeah, I think anything that I have won coming back from a major injury or surgery has been very meaningful. The ones that stick out to me the most are Big Tens in 2019. I just came back from shoulder surgery and basically had the meat of my life. So that one meant a lot to me. And then also that summer, um, USA Diving Nationals that summer, I made the world team on 1 meter and 3 meter, the world championship team. So that meant a lot to me too, because that was my first meet representing the USA at the senior level. So I'd say those two meets probably meant the most to me.
What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. Have you ever seen Miracle on Ice?
No, I haven't.
No. It's a movie about hockey. A really good movie. You should watch it. That's my favorite movie.
What advice would you give an Arnold with a dream of becoming an Olympic diver?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say just keep working hard every single day at practice and then work outside of the pool also on your mental training and stick with it. Just keep pushing every day.
Thank you for making time to talk to me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.